Giannis downhill, slams it home. Pressure again, and a sack for Aaron Donald. Coronation is complete. All hail King Canelo. That Mahomes who tiptoes inside the 10, still not out. Oh, what a run!
Welcome back to the Right Way Sports Network. Welcome back to the Game Changer Show, Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We've got Trey, we've got Ethan, we got Daniel. Malik's in the building. He'll be, up here live with us on the stage in 1 second. I'm sure he'll be right back. A lot to talk about today. We got some NBA Finals talk. We got quite a bit of NFL buzz, which is unusual for, the month of June, and a little bit of UFC at the end. I'm excited, guys. I really am. I know we got a little Trevon Diggs talk. Trey and Daniel have been already chirping back and forth with that. But before we get to any of that, let's start off with this TWSN Patreon page where we're just making people cash left and right, Daniel. We talk about it every week. Throw up the money side. The link is in the description. Again, positive investment for everybody. Our betting team does a kick-ass job. Ethan, I'm talking to you. Fantastic. The homework is done. The hit rates are fantastic. Go make yourself some money with the link in the description. But let's start off with these NBA Finals, as we do basically every show. And I wanted to start off with NBA Finals takeaways, but I said, you know what? No. Because somebody's going to mention Draymond Green and this, that, and another. So let's just get that out of the way, right? Because I know it's going to be mentioned. So the question is, should the Warriors just bench Draymond Green at this point? He has more fouls than he does points. He has 18 fouls and 17 points in this series so far. So, Trey, why don't you start us off for today's show? Should the Warriors bench Draymond?
I guess my first question would be, to open up to the rest of y'all, what do we expect from Draymond? I feel like every finals, he two things to guarantee. He's somehow gonna look at the stat sheet and realize he's got more assists and you didn't see a single one of them. And then the second thing you're gonna see is that he's gonna be in foul trouble. So I think is he definitely in a slump? I feel like he's good to hit at least 1 3-pointer in the first 3 games, and he hasn't yet. Sure, but I really am a little confused where this criticism is coming from, because I feel like the Draymond I'm seeing is sort of the Draymond I've always seen, the guy that is really good at the hustle plays. He's a leader. He's tough. He's gritty. But this whole are we just now realizing that Draymond doesn't fill it up every night? I'm really confused about that. But I guess to answer your question, I think what they're doing right now is the best bet. I think Draymond, when you have somebody that's that valuable to the team, it's going to be weird to the other players seeing him get benched. But I think if you do take him out in key points where you feel like his inefficiency could hurt you at certain points and certain runs, then you do that. But I feel like the way Steve Kerr worked the rotation in Game 4 is how I expect it to go moving forward, as long as they continue to have success.
Ethan, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think necessarily benching Draymond is the right decision the Warriors should make here. Sure, he's averaging is 4.3 points per game in this finals, 5.8 assists, 7.3 rebounds. You mentioned the foul trouble with the plus minus of minus 1.8. So, I don't think benching him is the right idea. I think you keep playing him because you never know when, Draymond could have that game right once in a while. He could have a 15-point, 10-rebound game. You never know, because Draymond has that veteran leadership. He's been to the finals. He's been there. He's done that. So you never know. I just don't think it's going to make a difference if you bench him, really.
So here's what I'll say. That 15-point, 10 rebound, assist, whatever you're saying, Ethan, I hear you. But if the Celtics keep playing defense the way they are with this drop coverage, I was prepared to come on here and say, look, Draymond, it is being minimized. He is being minimized because of the Celtics' defensive coverage. But Will Laughlin had a fantastic breakdown. He really took the words out of my mouth. Draymond, where he succeeds is as a playmaker, whether that's as a passing hub, short roll playmaker. And the Celtics aren't allowing him to do that because every time coming off a pick and roll, Steph Curry's getting a wide open pull-up 3. So Draymond is just putting this off-ball roll, and he can't shoot. He can't score. This dude's a playmaker. So if there are no advantages for him to exploit, he's not going to do anything offensively. So that's where I see things with Draymond. If the Celtics could make some sort of adjustment, sure, I think he could be more valuable offensively. But right now, it ain't there because of the way the Celtics are playing defense.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. I don't think that they should bench him right off the bat. You can't bench him. You can't, just say, oh, you're playing 0 minutes. But at the end of the fourth quarter, we saw with 7 minutes to go, Steve Kerr made a great adjustment, take him out of the game. That's what you can do, right? Because to Trey's, question of what does Draymond do? He's an elite defensive presence, but he hasn't really been that in this series. He hasn't. He's been good, and he has a couple nice chase down blocks. But if it's, head into the fourth quarter, he's not, being a defensive impact. What is he out there for? So I think, you start him. Because he even admits, Draymond said he's in a rut right now. You start him, see if he can get back in the groove, make his defensive presence felt. But if he's not, worst case scenario, you bench him in the fourth quarter and you go from there. So,
Malik, you got any thoughts?
The same reason I don't bench Daniel Alameda every single week on this show is the reason why the Warriors shouldn't bench Draymond Green. If you're confused by what I'm saying is, what Draymond Green offers is way beyond the stat sheet. He's the emotional leader. Daniel is an emotional leader for this show. He is an exciting piece of this show. So he would never get benched, right? Even though he may lose every single debate that he has on this show, it doesn't always show up in his stat sheet. The impact doesn't always show up in the stat sheet. And Aiden, I'm sorry, I got to go at your head for a little bit right now, my man. Right now, you're talking about Draymond Green like he Adonis Haslam or something. The fact of the matter is, I think that Draymond Green has a lot to offer this basketball team, being the emotional leader and getting, being that veteran leader for some of the young guys out there on the court. So all the while he might not be showing up in the stat sheet, guess what? They're still pulling out W's. And Steve Kerr, to Daniel's point, made a fantastic adjustment last game. If we thought that Draymond Green was going to be some offensive, juggernaut, then I got a bridge to sell you in California. But the fact of the matter is, I'll just tell you this right now. I think a lot of us are being a little too hard on Draymond Green, a.k.a. my twinning him. I think we got to just relax. We got to chill. I'm not benching Draymond Green. He's been in this moment before. And I believe Draymond Green will continue to show up, being the defensive player, multi-defensive player of the year and things of that nature. Yes. Draymond Green is going to be Draymond Green at the end of the day. So we got to just cool it on him, though.
Can you imagine if we actually bench Draymond? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine?
Well, they did. They did with 7 minutes left in that game.
The problem is this is led by people that don't really know basketball. Because to Malik's point, Draymond Green, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, since when is Draymond Green scoring like that? Like,
no, you're right.
And when Ethan read off those stats, if Draymond Green had a little more points, literally, if he had what was it, Ethan? Like 8. If he had 8 points. 5 assists, 7 rebounds. That's a fantastic finals if you ask me.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Here's my thing. There have been times where PJ Tucker, and I mentioned PJ Tucker because he's very similar to him in a lot of ways, though.
I agree.
And there have been times where PJ Tucker don't perform well. We never
he doesn't score.
Yeah,
he didn't score. I don't think he scored a point in Game 7, but his defensive prowess made a difference.
In a pest out there.
Right. So I agree. I think the Warriors are smart enough where they know what Draymond brings to the table. That's the good thing.
Exactly. I think it's this younger generation. This young.
It is.
I'm going at Aiden, messing with Aiden right now. But I think it's this younger generation, man, that's talking about bench Draymond and stuff like that.
Hey, I was just responding to Ethan about that 15-point performance. There's going to have to be a change in the Celtics' defensive scheme if we want to see those 15 damn points.
I promise you, Draymond scores 15, Draymond scoring 15, 20 will not be the reason why the Warriors win or lose. Like, that's never been. Draymond went stupid in that Game 7 versus the Cavs, and they still lost.
Right.
Aiden, I've seen you play basketball before. You're very similar to Draymond in a lot of ways.
In ways, yes. Hey, there are some. I
Draymond.
led my team in scoring a season ago, so don't act like I can't.
No, that's cute, but at least out of the games I saw from you, rebound, running up the court, defense, rebound, running up the court, no scoring.
Impactful player.
I'm just saying.
I can take the front seat when needed. I don't know Draymond.
It's like you're looking in the mirror right now when you're talking about Draymond Green.
Sometimes, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm not trashing on Draymond. I was simply
let Draymond breathe. That's all I'm saying.
I'll take that. That's totally fine. I'd rather be Draymond Green than some, Daniel Alameda. Who is he? A skinny Ricky Rubio without the passing. I don't know.
Disrespectful.
Aiden, let's run it, Aiden. I guarantee you, we get on the court. I don't give a damn if you're 6'4", 6'.
Yeah, me and Malik are going to be on a team. Malik's a damn sniper from 3.
I'm talking about you. I'm not talking about Malik. I'm talking about you.
That is true.
Okay. All right, 1-on-1. Sure.
Malik's like Devin Booker.
Nah, Trey, ask about me. You making faces up there, my brother. I am a sniper from 3. That I will say.
There you go.
I can attest. I can attest. I can attest.
He's been on the court with me. I am a sniper from 3. You can say what you want.
May not have the best ball handling, but if you're spot up shooter, hey, and you can play some defense.
Well, Daniel, why don't you keep the analysis coming? Because I want to get just a couple more NBA Finals takeaways here before we move on to the NFL. And I want to start this thing off with you while you're on a roll here, while you're hot and heavy. What is your other, outside of Draymond Green, what is your biggest NBA Finals takeaway?
Celtics are going to beat themselves. If they lose this, it's because of their turnovers. It's because of their ball handling. And to Malik's point from last week, I think it was, the Celtics don't know, like Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, who's handling the ball. They're going out into the lane too weak. They're going to beat themselves. And that's my biggest concern. It's been my biggest concern, all postseason long. At this point, I don't even care if Jason Tatum takes over. The Celtics can win without him taking over. It's can the team as a whole not turn the ball over, not have 30 takeaway or 30. I don't even know how many they had last game. I think 20 something. But that's my biggest issue with the Celtics right now, ball handling. So,
Trey, go for it.
I got a question from Malik, my brother Malik.
My brother.
Talk about your boy Tatum. What you thought of his performance in these finals so far?
Oh, y'all know how I feel about Jason Tatum. I love to talk about some Jason Tatum because I'm not a delusional Celtics fan. The fact of the matter is, Jason Tatum, when the going gets tough and the tough gets going, my man is not showing. That's all I got. So the fact of the matter is, everybody's still waiting for Jason Tatum to press that button and finally show up. We're going to keep waiting. Listen, it's the same thing. Jason Tatum, he had was it last game or the game before last? He had a great game.
One before.
But in the fourth quarter, the same thing I said about Bam Adebayo, just so you don't think that I'm being biased.
But see, again, that's not a valid comparison. That's not a valid comparison.
Context. Listen. Hold on. Context matters, right? Now he did a little bit more, but in the definition of actually showing up, he didn't show up from what you expect.
In your definition of showing up, which means they got to stop scoring, is what it means to you to show up.
Hey, I don't know what you wanted me to say about Jason Tatum. I wasn't about to get on here and be
I knew what you were going to say. I just wanted to hear you say it because here's the thing. The funny thing is, the reason why I brought it up is I sort of feel the same way. You guys sat here and told me that there's more pressure on Jason Tatum. He's not lived up to any of that right now. He's absolutely not lived up to any of that. And
Trey, could you believe we sat on this show a couple of weeks ago posing the question, is Jason Tatum a top 5?
No one said he was, to be
I didn't say that. But again,
I'm saying we did pose the question.
It's true.
I'm glad you brought that up though, because there's a couple things I'm going to say, and then I'm going to keep my mouth shut for the rest of this take. But first, I'm going to say I agree with Daniel. Boston absolutely feels like the better team, but it feels like they're shooting themselves. And when you have a veteran team that's been in the championship like Golden State hang around, it comes back to bite you in the worst way. So I 100% agree that way, especially as somebody who wants to see Steph win the finals this year and get that finals MVP. I definitely get that feeling when watching this series is, man, Boston, if they really had their stuff together, they could really take the Warriors out early. And you just don't let veteran teams, good teams like Golden State hang around. Second thing is, I still stand by what I said the first week I came on this show. And I don't know if you guys are understanding it or realizing it or not, but I'm going to say it again. So that if I'm going to break it down so that it might forever be broke. Steph Curry right now is still better than Luka Doncic. He's still better than Luka Doncic. I'm not even going to sit here and pretend like, oh.
Why? You know what? I try to let you breathe. I try to let you be right about something. But you got to get on this show each and every single week and find a way to drag Luka Doncic somehow.
I'm not dragging Luka.
Hold on. Let me talk. I can understand Ethan doing it. Right. You know, the Suns fan. I can understand him dragging the.
You know what it is? I'm gonna tell you what my pet peeve is.
What is it?
I love Luka Doncic, and I said this before. Yes, I did, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what I told the guys before we start the show. I love Luka. I believe amongst the young players, he's far and ahead, the best. But my problem is more with you guys, not specifically when I say I'm saying my peers, my friends that are so quick to anoint these young cats as the best in the league. When I think it's too early. Not Luka will 100% be the best player in the NBA. There's not a doubt about that, but he's not right now. He is not right now. He's not better than Steph. He's not better than KD. He's not better than Embiid or Giannis.
Trey. Ice Trey. Trey, my brother. Trigger Trey. Let me talk to you real quick. If you take Steph Curry, listen, I understand we're all caught up right now in the hype.
I'm not.
Let me speak. I understand we are all excited and we loving the hype right now because guess what? It's recency bias, and right now the only thing we're watching is a Steph Curry masterclass. It's not like Luka Doncic is playing, tomorrow or tonight or anything like that. He's sitting at home. How quickly are we to forget? Here's what I'm gonna say to you right now, and this is hopefully not a hot take. And if it's meant as a hot take, I apologize for those who are watching, those who are listening. If you take Steph Curry and you put him in the same circumstance with Dorian Finney-Smith, Sterling Brown, okay? What are we talking about? Maxi Cleveland. No. Let me say this right now. Reggie Bullock. If you put him in the same situation as the Mavericks, they asses is eliminated by now.
Keep going. Yes.
No, that's all I got to say.
Malik, everything you just said, we can run that back my first day. Everything you just said is verbatim what I said. And it's exactly why I'm saying what I'm saying. Recency bias. Luka was going crazy. What he was doing in the playoffs was amazing. And then you guys tried to sit there and tell me, you have to sit here and tell me he's the best in the NBA. And I said, this is all
offensive score.
Right, hold up. Recency bias. And then I said, if we switch the two, Luka on Golden State isn't putting up those numbers. Why? Because he does not have to. Why? Because Golden State has the better team. If Steph Curry's on the Mavericks, that 40-point performance that he just did versus the Boston Celtics is happening every game, whether they win or not.
Well, Trey, I'll tell you something right now. Steph Curry, this situation he is currently in for this finals. I talked about that drop coverage and pick and roll. The Celtics are giving him any pull-up three he wants. His stats are actively, and I know at the time when you made this take, it was that valid in a sense, I guess you could say. I get where you're coming from. In this series, though, the Celtics are giving him every pull-up three he wants. His stats are actually kind of being inflated because the Celtics are trying to. They're giving him every pull-up three, and everybody else is getting shut down.
It doesn't change my overall point. The only reason I brought up that performance is because that is what it would look like. That's how many points he would be putting up on that Mavs team because of what is around him. So what I'm saying is this. Luka is 100% a fantastic player. Luka is 100% going to be the best. And that's why I brought this up and why I'm trying to get it, is that everything is about recency bias. I'm keeping the same energy 4 weeks later that I did when I first got on here. I'm keeping the same energy. And everything you said is verbatim what I said. You just flipped the names. Literally.
I hate you being right. I hate you being right.
I'm just being honest.
Jay's right now.
I'm just being honest. I love Luka. I love Luka. But let's be completely honest about the situation.
Okay, if we're going to be honest, stop lying and saying you love Luka because you don't.
I really do. I think Luka's
trying to say Trae Young was better than him.
Honestly, you want my honest opinion? My honest opinion on Luka is I think he is LeBron James without athleticism. That's honestly how I feel about Luka Doncic. The passing, the ball handling, the IQ, it's amazing to watch. My problem is when I got on this show back with my guys, the first thing I'm hearing is Luka's the best player in the NBA already. Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. That's all I'm saying. He will be, no doubt.
All right, well, let's get some quick roundtable Game 5 predictions before we move on to the NFL here. I'll start things off, and then we'll go to Trey. We'll go down the panel here. I think the Celtics, look, last week I stood up on the table. I said they're going to bounce back, Game 3 win. I'm still rocking with the Celtics. I think they're going to win tonight, but there's a little pit in my stomach that's a little scared. I'm not as confident as I was last week, but I'm still going to take the Celtics to win tonight. I'm going to keep rolling with them. But Trey, what do you think?
Whew. This Game 5, my first thing I'll say is I think whoever wins this Game 5 wins the series. And it pains me to say this because, like I said, I do want to see Golden State win. But I have a funny feeling the Celtics are going to bounce back. Everything that I've seen from them, how they're coached, how they play, I think they're ready for this environment. They live for games like this where they feel it. Even though it's a 2-2 series, it sort of feels like their backs are against the wall a little bit based on how they performed in Game 4. I think they come out, have a convincing win. This could have set up a dangerous game for Golden State in Game 6 where Boston, with that crowd, could close it out and win the finals.
Ethan?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Boston, they played better on the road this year. They're playing good off bounce-back losses, just off a loss. But I don't know, man. With that chase turn is going to be rocks inside for Golden State. It's a tough one. I tell you what, I'll take +4. I'll take Boston with the points tonight.
Oh, come on with the betting terminology. All he asks is who you're taking. That's it.
And subscribe to the Patreon for all of our picks.
Beautiful
Daniel's
plug.
got the NBA props tonight.
I love you, man.
I
love
despised
you.
you for that just now.
Daniel, what do you
Shameless
think?
Heavy
I don't
breathing.
think that whoever wins this. What'd you say?
No, go ahead.
I don't think whoever wins the series. I still think that this series, no matter what, it's going to go 7. I'm going to go with the Celtics, though. Bounce back off a loss. They play better on the road. I think that, I think that this is going to be a big bounce back game for them. So,
Malik.
I have no idea.
That's
You can't say that. Give me something.
Going back
I'm
and
just
forth.
real with you. Listen, the Celtics team, they have a tendency to blow opportunities. There's no way in hell they should have lost last game. Down the stretch, they were up, 10-11 with 5 minutes to go and choked it away. How'd that happen? Can't guard Stephen Curry, and all Jason Tatum says is, I got to be better. Okay, yeah, a third grader watching the basketball game could have told you that. So, I don't know. It seems like they don't have enough answers. Listen, the Celtics, if the Celtics can continuously down the stretch play like a cohesive unit, and they actually start knocking their shots down, and Jaylen Brown can stop doing that idiotic thing he does every single fourth quarter down the stretch where he spins between 2 defenders and loses the ball. He literally has done every single game. Bro, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Literally, that's how the Heat were pickpocketing him. And that series should have been wrapped up. But, they got to play more like a cohesive unit down the stretch if they want to wrap this game up. If the Celtics play like a team down the stretch and cohesive unit, they win this game and they win. But I am just of the belief I need to see it. Now from the show me state. You got to show me something. What Denzel say? What he say, Trey? I'm from around the way. I'm something, So it's the same thing, man. I'm from the show me state. You gotta show me something. That's really how I'm.
You can argue though that Jaylen Brown has been the best player on that team. If this was an elimination game, and the Celtics,
Mark probably was last game.
MVP, right?
They're gonna give it to Jason Tatum because he did that whole Kobe thing where Kobe.
I know.
What scares me too is that if Jaylen Brown is the best player for the remainder of the series, the Celtics aren't going to win. Let's just be real. It ain't going to get to that point. If the Celtics are going to win this series and have somebody be the Finals MVP, Tatum's going to step up.
Just show up? Can they both just
Hey,
show
Daniel,
up?
you think Kobe Bryant is letting that happen? By the way,
no, hold on, no, we're not getting there. Hold on, Aiden, I'm going to disagree with you. I started the series off thinking that I don't think that if Jason Tatum, I don't think he has to be the best player. I don't think so. I think that I've seen a team all series long that Tatum hasn't been the best player, and they're, game 1, they're easily
game series. So, and here's the thing: Tatum has been a little overhated in the series too. From at the rim, mid range, I get it. The shot selection has been iffy, the efficiency's been bad, but he's been nailing 3-pointers, and his playmaking remains underrated. That game 7 against the Heat, I still hear people saying he didn't show up in that game. I thought he was fantastic.
You know what the problem is, Nathan? It's
that?
The lack of aggression. It's the lack of aggression.
Yeah.
That's what I feel.
Game 7, he was getting double teamed all game. He was making the right read all game.
I think you're partially right. I don't necessarily know if it's lack of aggression, but it's he's taking it into the rack. I don't know what the term for it is. He's just he's taking it in there, but it's the finish.
What he's doing is what Klay Thompson needs to be doing. If they flipped how Klay Thompson, that Steve Kerr said, has been a little too aggressive, trying to get to.
Okay. Yeah.
While Tatum is sort of letting the game come to him. Tatum can score 20, 23 in his sleep. And I think that's what we're seeing and we're watching that. We're like, yeah, but you need to take it to another level. Leave no doubt who the best player is on that team right now. Because right now it looks like it's Jaylen Brown. Not saying that I believe Jaylen Brown's better, but that's what it looks like. Jaylen Brown is the one getting the big bucks. I don't care. Guess what? If you're the best player on the team, Daniel, you're going to get double teamed. Yeah. It's going to happen. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Point blank period.
My whole thing, if I were to be able to speak to Tatum before this game, I would tell him, be the guy who punches first. I genuinely would. I would be the guy who punches first. That's it. And
if he came out and scored 15 straight in the first quarter, put 15, 17 in the first quarter, and then let the game come to him, he'd look at his stat sheet and see he's got 30. There just hasn't been that.
Jason, who told you? Why are you scoring so much? Jason told me. Daniel told me to punch first.
He's sweating and everything. I talked to Daniel.
Hey, if he drops 30 tonight, we know why.
Right. But Ethan, I can't believe you let Malik dog on you for not giving a direct pick. But then when we got to Malik, he said, I don't know. And you didn't say a word, Ethan.
I know. Well, it's all right.
Ethan still think the Suns in the finals.
Ethan, stay strong, brother. You stay strong. The Suns are gonna be back, bro.
We ain't got to. The Suns are staying strong.
We're gonna have one hell of an off season, and then we're gonna be back.
Yes, bro. Yeah, say it with your chest. Yeah.
Come on.
You don't even believe that.
Yes, I do.
You spending too much time in that Arizona sun.
Whether it's Bradley Beal or Kevin Durant or whoever wants to come to
you don't believe none of them are coming there.
You
don't believe none of them are coming there.
Yeah.
You don't.
Just wait, Malik. Just wait.
You know what you told me earlier today, Ethan? And I quote, was it yesterday night or was it today? I'm done with the Suns.
That was today.
Oh, wow. The truth comes out.
You said I'm down.
That was after I got the update about the DeAndre Ayton, how the Suns
tell everybody what you said. Chris Paul is going to go to the Mavericks and he's going to win a championship because.
No, I said DeAndre Ayton, not Chris Paul.
Somebody. You said somebody's going to join Luka and they're going to win a championship next year because that's what everybody happened. That happens to all.
Just wait, it's going to happen. Luka is going to team up with Ayton and they're going to win rings together, and I'm going to be banned. That's what I'll say. I can already see it happening.
No one told you to be a Suns fan, bud.
It's all right. Ride or die. Ride or die.
Die, I guess.
Die on that hill, Ethan.
All
right, so we're going to switch gears now to the NFL. And this Tyreek Hill video, he was talking about, comparing Tua and Patrick Mahomes. And one comment he had was he said Tua was more accurate than Patrick Mahomes. And look, I know we all have strong feelings maybe on this take, but I feel like I'd be doing a disservice to the number one Tua Tagovailoa fan that we have here at TWSN if I did not let Daniel Alameda start us off with this topic.
So I'm going to start off. I'm not a Tua fan, right? I'm just simply somebody who looks at players who continuously get disrespected, and I'm going to stick up for them, right?
The Jags.
So I don't know what you said there, but all I want you guys to do, tell me where I'm wrong, right? Just tell me where I'm wrong. Tua isn't a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't have a bigger arm. He's not more elusive than Patrick Mahomes, but he is more accurate. Patrick Mahomes' play style isn't predicated off of accuracy. It's based off of, I'm going to get outside of the pocket and play backyard football. Tua is the complete opposite. He's made his name off of going through his reads, sitting in the pocket, going 1-2, quick slant, going RPO. And that's his game. So Tyreek Hill is completely in the right by saying that Tua is the more accurate quarterback because he is. Patrick Mahomes is, I looked at some of the stats, bad throw percentage. Patrick Mahomes ranks 6th highest in the league at 18.8%. Tua is 25th at 16%. Patrick Mahomes has way more, off-target throws because it's a different play style. And that's why Tua is more accurate. It's a completely different play style. Patrick Mahomes isn't predicated off of quick reads, and Tua is. And that's why Tua is more accurate.
Daniel. If you just look at the stats, Patrick Mahomes has a more accurate throw rate than Tua. Accurate throw rate, that accounts for, drops, batted passes, all of that stuff that, isn't just, we're not just throwing completion percentage in here, which, could be a wide variety. It could be from drops.
Don't even.
This is accurate throw rate. Patrick Mahomes is a 78.3. Tua is a 75.3 from last year. And the year before that, Mahomes was 76.7 to Tua 74.2. So the stats are there. They're literally there.
But Daniel, why are we wait, about the play style? Because you're a big part of your argument. I'll let you talk after this. But it was based off the play style, right? Tua sits in the pocket. They last year ran a horizontal offense full of quick slants and high-low reads, where Patrick Mahomes far more throws down the field, far more, a higher level of difficulty where he's scrambling out of the pocket, making these crazy off-platform throws. So why are you using play style, to kind of prop Tua up when, no, the level of difficulty for Mahomes' throws are far greater than Tua's?
Well, play style means everything. You could say, obviously, in a perfect world, okay, that translates if you put Patrick Mahomes, in a Tyreek Hill is going to be in a different system, and he's going to be in different play style, and which means, he's not going to be running around and, having to make crazy contested jump ball catches. He's going to be running a lot more quick patterns. And
you want to know why? Because Tua is not a guy that can make these off-platform, out-of-pocket, on-the-run throws like Mahomes. So, again, I don't understand.
Okay.
I don't understand where this is going. This is Tua. I mean, Tyreek Hill said that Tua is more accurate than Patrick Mahomes. That is the statement we're analyzing.
Let me say one more thing on this. We all know the reason why Tyreek Hill said this, all right? Why is he gonna go out there and say he's not? I mean, come on. Yeah. Everyone's going to juice up their new quarterback. Everyone's going to hype up their new guy. I mean, why wouldn't he say this?
No, Ethan, you're completely right. But I just like Aiden, you talked about the play style. That's everything. So Tyreek Hill is used to running around and having to make these difficult catches because that's the play style. Now he gets put in a system in practice. He's like, oh my God, this is a lot easier. I'm making quick passes.
Why are we discrediting Patrick Mahomes for making a far greater difficulty of throws? That's what I don't understand.
Aiden, you're missing the argument. The argument is accuracy. Tyreek Hill,
yes.
And we're going off of Tyreek Hill, the wide receiver. The wide receiver is saying in his play style, it doesn't matter what he did in the past. Right now, Tyreek Hill is playing with a quarterback that is more accurate than he did before. I don't think that's a stretch. I really don't.
Daniel, no. Tua makes Tua's job is far easier again than Mahomes. He sits in the pocket. He throws quick slants and he throws high-low reads. That's what he does.
Aiden,
I've made my point. I've stated it. I think we're not seeing eye to eye. Stop using play style to prop Tua up when it's clearly a negative. Mahomes can do far more with the football. Mahomes' throws are at a far greater degree of
more accurate than Tom Brady based on what you're saying?
Is what?
Is Mahomes more accurate talking to Aiden?
Don't compare Brady to Tua, though.
Because that's the same play style. I think it's
No. Brady, is that what he's doing in Tampa Bay? He's not running out of the pocket, but at least he's pushing the ball downfield. And here's the thing. Tom Brady can actually push it into tight windows. Have we seen that from Tua, really? No.
Not saying I agree with Daniel.
Not in the NFL yet. Can he? Potentially. I haven't seen it yet. I've seen it from Mahomes.
Hey, I just don't I've pretty much laid it out on a silver platter. Right now, Tyreek Hill will be playing with the Dolphins and is playing in he will have a more accurate quarterback as he's playing with the Dolphins than he did with the Chiefs. That's because of the play style, and that's because
of play style. But that doesn't mean Tua is more accurate than Mahomes because he's making a far easier.
It doesn't mean that Mahomes is more accurate either, though. The play style, I don't think has anything much to do with the accuracy of the player.
We have to go based off of what they've shown us.
Yeah, but Daniel's bringing up all these stats let's put context into this. Mahomes makes a far greater difficulty of throws than Tua. I think that matters.
Disagreeing with that, though.
How have you watched the games? Respectfully.
No one's disagreeing with that. I'm saying, Aiden, you are right. Patrick Mahomes is better. He makes more difficult throws, and he's going to have wide receivers that have to, play farther down the field and make more difficult catches. Tyreek Hill is going from that, having run around, make difficult catches.
I get what you're saying, but I just don't think it correlates to comparing their accuracy.
I don't think
but I want to let somebody else speak because I made my point clear.
I just feel like as of right now, we by default have to say Mahomes is more accurate. We've just seen a larger sample size, and we haven't seen enough from Tua. But at the same time, who's to say that Tyreek Hill is wrong? I've seen so many times receivers go to a new team, they'll say crazy things, right? And then it turns out a year later, wow, that particular player that person's talking about, he is good. Does that mean that by this time next year, Tua will be more accurate than Patrick Mahomes? No. But I think that we might be, we need to look into it a little more. I think what it is Tyreek Hill's giving Tua a little bit of credit. I think we hear all the people in the peanut gallery already question the decision of the Dolphins to draft Tua and is Tua the right guy. I think this is just Tyreek Hill's way of sort of backing Tua and saying that, Tua might surprise people this year. I am still out on Tua. I don't know what to make of Tua. I haven't seen enough of him. I do know what I have in Patrick Mahomes is a fantastic Hall of Fame quarterback. But, I think it's to be determined how good Tua Tagovailoa is. Or Tagovailoa, sorry.
Malik, you've been quiet down there. I know you got something to say.
Yeah, I've been listening to the kids talk.
Let's hear this. Yeah.
You know what I love about the NFL offseason? It's the NFL offseason. We're talking about comments that Tyreek Hill made when he has not played even a scrimmage with Tua Tagovailoa yet. Not even a scrimmage. We're talking about gym shorts and air. Let me say it again. We're talking about gym shorts and air. Basically, Tyreek Hill is like doing the combine overall. He didn't even get invited to the combine, but it's like the combine and the quarterback. You were like that receiver that's just catching everything. And you got great timing with this quarterback that's at the combine. He just slinging it and stuff like to you. Where's the defensive back at? So I don't know. I think that we're getting a little too caught up in this conversation. Of course, Tyreek Hill is going to say what he's going to say about Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback that gets beaten down mentally so easily that the teammates said, oh, we don't think this guy could start in the league. And it was so many anonymous reports last year of players coming out saying stuff about Tua Tagovailoa. Of course, he's going to speak to his confidence. Of course, they need to prop him up and say all the nice, beautiful things. Now, Tua. We know you're the starting quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, even though you were drafted after Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. We believe that you're going to finally come into your own. They're going to say nice things and whisper sweet nothings in his ear to make him feel good about himself, just to get the guy in the right mental space. They had to literally form an entire like one read, throw the ball to help this guy succeed.
Yes.
Not mobile in the pocket. He doesn't have amazing arm strength. I think Tyreek Hill will be singing a different tune once the season starts. You want to know why? Because Tyreek Hill is saying that, but Tyreek Hill doesn't run the greatest routes either. Like I'm like we got to just talk facts, right? Yeah. That's why Mahomes and him was a match made in heaven. Let me tell you what Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is the disgruntled ex. Okay, he's the disgruntled ex that tells everybody. When you guys were together, oh, he was so amazing, or she was so amazing, and I loved him, and I loved her, and I blah, 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 blah. Then they break up. Yeah, they really wasn't all of that. They had this about them and that about them, and it just okay. Like we just had Devontae Adams say that Derek Carr was a similar quarterback to Aaron Rodgers. Where? So, again, it's the off season. Madden ain't even come out yet, and we got people talking crazy, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I'm taking what Tyreek Hill said with a grain of salt because I think Tyreek Hill is going to go from being a top fantasy wideout receiver or offensive player to being, honestly, bottom-of-the-barrel player with Tua. And if that's not indicative of who your quarterback is, okay, when I say bottom of the barrel, I don't hear me out. I don't think anybody should draft Tyreek Hill in the first, second, or third round. That's a fact. Because of who he has as quarterback. Unless Mike McDaniels is planning to make a switch at quarterback at some point in the season, you 100% should not. In most fantasy leagues, Tyreek Hill is picked early. Fantasy leagues, picked early. And people will call me crazy. I understand it's the name. It's like, oh, Tyreek Hill. But who you have throwing the ball to you matters. There is a clear, significant drop-off from Patrick Mahomes and Tua Tagovailoa. It's the reason why Patrick Mahomes, even though you guys know how I feel about Patrick Mahomes. I can't wait to chew him up in this season when the season starts because guess what? He needs Tyreek Hill just as much as Tyreek Hill needs him. That's just a fact.
He's the motor of the offense.
I'm gonna tell you this
as long as you can throw a 5-yard slant to Tyreek Hill, it's all good. It's all good. Just give him the ball.
That totally like.
You know what? I like that little. That's a cute little statement you made, right? That's a cute
Mike McDaniel.
Listen. No. You putting too much credit. You making it seem like Tyreek Hill is the same type of gadget player as Deebo Samuel. They're not even built the same.
No.
Right? There's somebody behind Tyreek Hill that was.
Tyreek Hill played running back at Oklahoma State.
Tyreek Hill, they're the complete
Tyreek Hill has been in the league. Hold on. Tyreek Hill has been in the league for multiple years and already has a lot of wear and tear and tread on the tires. We already saw him breaking down the last 2 seasons. So understand when we say certain stuff, like again, Tyreek Hill made a business decision because the Chiefs were not giving him that bad because they for whatever reason they didn't want to pay him.
Right. Yeah. You want the money.
If you think that he's going to go to the Miami Dolphins and have the same exact success, I have a bridge to
sell.
Not
the same exact success, but his scrimmage yards might go up because McDaniels is going to use him like Deebo.
I don't think that's going to work out well for them.
No.
I'll be the first to say that. I don't think that's going to work out well. I understand the idea, Trey. Trust me. I understand the idea, and it's a magnificent move for Mike McDaniels and the Miami Dolphins to say, you know what, let's go out and grab Tua Tagovailoa, who could be that Deebo Samuel type player. But Deebo also, this is going to be his first contract. Tyreek Hill's been in the league for several years at this point now.
Here's
He already has a lot of wear and tear on him.
If Mike McDaniels runs that system properly, I think he'll have some success. I agree with what you're saying. The wear and tear is a very valid point because Kyle Shanahan took Jimmy Garoppolo and them boys to a Super Bowl. So, at the end of the day, I don't think Tua has to be the amazing,
and you have Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle's going to be the number one on that team.
I really think Dolphins can make the playoffs this year. I really do.
I do too. But that doesn't change the fact that Tua Tagovailoa is not going to be more accurate than Patrick Mahomes, to be honest. I think everything.
That's crazy.
Imagine saying a guy who's able to throw the ball no look on the run into double coverage, literally perfect, has better accuracy than a guy who throws interceptions on a slant route that gets jumped on a consistent basis.
You don't want to start there. You don't want to start there because you literally are the same dude.
I literally taught you how to watch film. What are you talking about?
You're the same dude that said, "Oh well, Patrick Mahomes, what is he doing? He's throwing the ball up in the fourth quarter and not like you're like what are we? We're watching the same thing. Patrick Mahomes makes terrible decisions." Maybe not as many.
Decision making doesn't have anything to do with accuracy.
Whoa. No, Aiden. I can handle him. Bring that smoke. I've been waiting for you to grow a pair. I've been waiting for you to grow a pair. What's up?
Yeah. I'm not scared to go up at you. I mean, I'm just confused, right? Accuracy is basically you don't make stupid decisions. And it's the same.
No. Don't confuse accuracy with me saying. Again, I got crucified by every NFL media person a couple of months ago when I said the difference between Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow ultimately will be the football IQ. Oh my God, I can't believe you said that. I can't believe you said our great Patrick Mahomes and great our. Anybody that watches football and isn't an idiot can watch film and see that Patrick Mahomes has the great equalizer, which is his arm strength.
Yeah.
He doesn't make the best decisions all the time IQ-wise. And
he just learned how to read defenses a couple years ago.
Right. But again, Trey, what I said was blasphemous. Oh, my God. Quincy Avery on Twitter, who's Patrick Mahomes' quarterback coach. Oh, you're an idiot. Bro, you would never say that to me to my face, number one. But number two, it shows me that you know nothing about football. The simple fact that you're literally you can't fathom in your mind. I understand the guy pays you a paycheck to help him become a better quarterback. But the fact of the matter is, no one has ever lauded Patrick Mahomes for his football IQ. He's literally known as a risk taker. If you ever played Madden and they had the quarterback badge that says gambler, that's literally Patrick Mahomes. However, he has a phenomenal arm. And I'm not about to disrespect him that far because I don't think I'm even disrespecting him. I'm just being real. And what I've noticed nowadays, people don't like real. The fact of the matter is I'm not going to disrespect Patrick Mahomes, his ability as a quarterback in the National Football League by comparing him to a guy that got benched every other game by the last coaching staff that struggles with the bare minimum. So can Tua Tagovailoa take a next leap? Sure. But again, like Allen Iverson said, we're talking about practice. Comparing him to a guy that's already been to a Super Bowl and won a Super Bowl and won an MVP. Yeah, cry me a river.
But the thing is, we're not comparing him as a player.
Oh, I know there is no comparison. There's no comparison.
No. We're comparing one specific aspect. Now, I just want to go back.
There's no comparison. They're nothing alike. There's no comparison.
They're nothing alike. Different play styles.
It's like you versus me in a debate. Watches him. No, there's no comparison.
I don't think that's.
Tua Tagovailoa doesn't even deserve to be mentioned in the same breath as Patrick Mahomes. If we compare the Tua Tagovailoa to anybody right now, it's to Marcus Mariota. Let's compare those two.
But you're just completely shutting down.
We're not comparing him. We're not comparing them. There's no comparison. I personally am not disrespecting.
You're shutting down the debate because of their name.
I'm not disrespecting Patrick Mahomes on Game Changers and having this discussion and comparing him to a guy that broke his hip coming out of college that is just learning.
What does
how
that
to
even
be a
have to do with
accuracy? I am not
accuracy?
comparing him to Tua Tagovailoa. Absolutely no way, Jose. You will not catch me doing it because I respect the game of football way too much and the people that actually put the work in. I am not doing that. I will not be one of them.
Notice how you're going
Thank
circles
you.
around the
I'm not
actual
doing it.
debate.
I'm
Notice
not
how you're
doing
going
I'm
around
not
circles.
doing it. I'm not
Okay,
doing it.
then
I'm
we
not
don't have-
comparing them. I'm
Oh,
not
that's-
comparing them.
If
There's
you
no
don't want to have that
comparison.
debate, that's fine. That's
It's
fine.
not having debate. What is there to debate? What is there
Accuracy,
to debate?
like it's literally it's football. Okay,
What is
you
there
want to
to
talk about
debate?
football?
What is there to debate?
It's football accuracy. Who's more accurate? That's
Come on, bro. You make a poll. I guarantee you 100 out of 100 times Patrick Mahomes
a
cleans
poll.
him.
A poll. So
He
you're
cleans
basing
him.
off of fans? You're basing off
Bro,
of fans.
you're the only Tua Tagovailoa lover on this show. Every single time we bring this man up, Tua's going to have a great year. Tua's going to
He
be
is,
amazing.
and you're gonna have to eat your words when he
No,
has a great
I'm
year.
not eating no words. He's not doing nothing. None
So
of the stuff.
what are your
he's gonna do,
expectations?
He's going to
Dolphins
get benched.
will
He's going to
have
get
a
benched. He's going to get benched, and they're going to wind up drafting Bryce Young or one of these damn quarterbacks that are coming out of the draft class this year, or CJ Stroud or somebody like that. That's what's going to happen. This guy
I guarantee you he does not get benched this year. I guarantee
you. How much you want to bet?
I
How much you want to
will,
bet?
I will
How
bet.
much you wanna
Let's
How
make
much
a
do
wager.
you wanna bet? How
Let's
much
make
do
a
you wanna
wager.
Oh, we're gonna be betting a lot with Malik
Make
on
it.
these Dolphins.
Make
Yeah,
it.
so
Make
I
it.
am
Make
a
it.
college
Name the
student.
price. Name it.
I'll bet you $50.
Easy work. That's
Done.
$50 in my pocket. I'll give it back to you.
That
without
Tua
feeling
doesn't
bad.
get benched,
And
not hurt.
He's going
Not
to
hurt.
get. He's got
Yeah.
benched every single year. He's got benched every single year.
fine.
He's been in the
That's
National Football
That's
League.
fine.
What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
that's fine. That's fine.
You acting like this dude about to have a career resurgence, MVP level type season. You're smoking something.
I didn't say
Man,
MVP level. I never said
Is
MVP
he the
level.
worst quarterback in his division?
Don't
Zach
put words
Wilson's
in my
better
mouth.
than him. Zach
That's-
Wilson's better than him.
No, he will not have a better year.
Zach Wilson's better
He
than
will
him.
not have a better year than him. That's
Zach
disrespectful.
Wilson's better than him.
Fantasy. I love Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson's better than him. Mac Jones is better than him. Josh Allen's better than him.
But that doesn't mean
Everybody's
Tua
better
is
than
going
him.
to have a good year. Tua is
He's the
going to have
bottom of the barrel. He's a maggot. He's a
And he will
bottom of the
not-
barrel quarterback.
He
That's
will
what he
not.
is.
He will not get benched.
He's a bottom of the barrel quarterback. That's what he
That's
is.
fine. He's got a great situation. That's
And
all
I don't know
Great
what you see in
situation.
him that I don't see.
He's got a great
You're gonna
situation.
have-
That's what I see.
You're
That's
crazy.
what I see. I see
You're
Tyreek Hill, Jalen
He
Waddle.
had a
Mike
cool situation last year. He did.
What are you talking about?
He had a cool situation. He had Devontae Parker. He had Jalen Waddle. Who else did he
Rookie
have?
Jalen Waddle. Look at his offensive line. Who was
Okay,
his
Mike
rookie?
Gesicki.
Jamar Chase was a rookie. What are we talking
Mike
about?
Gesicki.
Mike
Like-
Gesicki.
Cool.
It wasn't
Offensive
great. It wasn't-
line.
When he gets benched, okay, how about this, Daniel? If you wind up losing the debate, you have to leave the show. How about that? If he gets benched, you have to leave the show. How about that?
So then, if he doesn't get benched, then
I'll leave the show. And it's yours. Come on. Put your money where your mouth is. And the only way you could come back to the show is if the other
Malik,
person
you are
leaves.
confident.
I'm confident. He's going to get benched.
Let's make this straight then.
Nah,
Injury
it's-
doesn't matter.
it's yes
Injury
or no,
doesn't
bro.
matter. No, okay, injury doesn't matter. It's if he gets benched.
Injury don't
and
matter.
he's
Brady's
healthy.
going to get benched.
If he gets benched and he's healthy, correct? Can you agree to that?
Yes,
And he's
yes,
healthy. Perfect.
Yes.
Consider done. Bet.
All right.
Bet. Wow. All right. We'll see.
So, okay, that just a bet. You know, this happens. I feel like once a month, especially during NFL season. It almost feels
We're
like
smoking on
once a
that
week,
Daniel
Malik
pack. That's what we doing.
making a bet. But we want to switch gears to this next topic. In Trey, I gotta let you start off with this one.
No. I want to hear everybody else's. I want to hear everybody else.
All right. Well, while
No,
he's hot, while he's ready
No.
to go, because they were talking big game in the back.
Trey,
No.
Trey, you're the Cowboys fan.
No,
You're the
because
Cowboys
here's-
fan.
All right,
You're the
hey,
quarterback.
we'll start
You're
a neutral
college
site.
quarterback.
Ethan,
You're college
Ethan can
quarterback.
start this off. Both of you can stop your bickering. You can go in a minute. We'll let Ethan start.
You let me start.
Go for it.
All right. Is Trevon Diggs a top 5 cornerback in the NFL?
Yeah, that's the question.
No. No, he is not. I could probably give you 7 to 6 cornerbacks who are better, in my opinion, than Trevon Diggs. I think he's top 10, but I do not think he's top 5. And I think a big reason, I don't know, I'll hear Trey's reason. Maybe Trey will, maybe he'll give me something else. But I think a big reason a lot of people think Trevon Diggs is a top 5 is because of the interceptions. And personally, I think interceptions is an overrated stats for corners. I do. I'm sorry.
Continue.
I know.
Keep it going.
Yeah, keep it going.
Okay,
Ethan. Don't
well,
worry about.
here's
Don't mind
why.
him.
Listen, cornerbacks, they're not supposed to be catching the ball. Okay, if they would, they'd be playing receiver most of the time. That's my opinion.
Don't discount.
Obviously, yes. You got guys like J.C. Jackson, who's got 25 interceptions the last 4 years, so something like that. A lot of these guys have a lot of interceptions. I'm just saying, Trevon Diggs, his play style is very aggressive. Trey, you can say that. He lets up a lot of deep plays. He's aggressive. He's an aggressive cornerback, and because of that, he lets up a lot of deep plays, a lot of deep passes. I don't think he's there yet. I think he's got to improve. I don't think he's there yet. I think there's a lot of guys who are better than him, which in defending passes and allowing, little to no coverage. But you never know.
Will it go?
I have a question.
Yes.
I just have a question, please, respectfully. Can you name me those 7 cornerbacks that are better than Trevon Diggs right now, please?
Stephon Gilmore, Jalen Ramsey, J.C. Jackson.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
Just going to go one by one with those. Stephon Gilmore hasn't been healthy in a year and a half.
Yeah.
Just want to throw that out there.
Okay.
And the last time we did see him on the football field, he was getting cooked for the Panthers. But continue.
I think Stephon Gilmore is the only cornerback defensive player of the year. Is that correct? One of them?
Again, a
Recently?
year and a half. Like, that's like me saying
Okay. Jalen Ramsey.
Yes, I think Ramsey's better.
Yeah.
You better.
I think that Ramsey is falling off. I don't think Trevon Diggs is better than him, but I think the allure behind Jalen Ramsey and
People are not scared of him.
People are not scared. It's starting to wear off because he's starting to get worked in this league.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that same Jalen Ramsey that used to, and it was, to be honest with you, it was D-Hop. It was what he go by?
Well, Devontae Adams had a little bit of
he gets worked now, and I think if you ask me, Jalen Ramsey looked like he got bigger. He's a little slower now. If you're able to beat him off the line of scrimmage real quick, you pretty much got him. I don't think Jalen Ramsey is as high or as much of a shutdown corner as people like to make him out to be anymore. That's all I'm going to say.
Is he better than Diggs, though? Or wait, I didn't. Or is that 50-50?
I think he is.
50-50?
It's weird. It's like Jalen Ramsey only performs at an elite level when he's going up and against an elite receiver. But when he's going up in a certain elite receiver, he gets worked by Devontae Adams. He got worked by Jamar Chase. And there were a few other people that worked him. I think that when he has to go up against, let's say if he's going up against a mid receiver, I find that mid receiver starts to have a little bit more success than you would even expect. I remember Alex Erickson, Trey, the wide receiver for the Bengals. He beat him for a 54-yard bomb.
That's their big matchup. It's when the little guy plays the big school.
Yeah.
The big school,
Darnell Mooney did too. Had a great
It's
game.
like it seems like he only gets excited to play up against like the elite of the elite wide receivers, and then he winds up getting worked. So it's like he's like Adrian Broner, right? Where Adrian Broner was looked at as the future face of boxing, and then Adrian Broner would beat up on the bums, and then when he faced the really, really elite guys, he would lose. But now he's facing like the mid-tier guys, like right before they get to like elite, or even maybe they're just the mid-tier guys, and those mid-tier guys are starting to have success against him now too. So,
all right, keep going though.
Yeah, sorry. I apologize. I went off on a
All right. Tre'Davious White is a better corner.
Was also not healthy, but okay.
He wasn't. No.
Keep going.
He tore something.
Keep going.
Tore that ACL, tore that leg up.
I hear you, though. I hear you. Keep going. I'm just getting it all out because I when I want to speak, I want to be able to really talk to y'all.
I think I'd put Jair Alexander over Diggs.
You think?
No, I wouldn't.
You know.
That's the best cornerback in football. Just so you know.
Yeah.
When healthy?
When healthy. Best cornerback in football.
Yes.
Keep going.
And I think I'd put Xavier Howard over him.
Okay.
All right. I think also, I'm going to toss in here real quick. I think Denzel Ward, personally. I think
Denzel Ward.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Here, I'll throw Ethan a bone, too, with a couple stats here. Ethan, too. Because I think Diggs, I'm not ready to put him in the top 5 quite yet, but the turnovers, I don't want to dispute them because the boom or bust, I can talk about how Trevon Diggs allowed the most yards in the league this year with over 1,000, but let's also not discount 11 interceptions. That is insane. Turnovers aren't a sticky stat. It's going to be basically impossible for him to repeat that, but turnovers change the script of a game. So we can talk
You're
about
right.
the 1,000 yards, but those 11 interceptions are huge. Again,
Right.
I'm
Well, a lot
not
of
trying to
those
put them top
interceptions
5
can
yet,
come
but
from a
those
tip
turnovers
pass from
are
a receiver.
massive. Like the way that can flip the script of a game. Granted, he was helped by, fourth in pressure rate the Cowboys were this year. Good defense. I'm throwing Ethan a bone.
Thank you, Aiden. Thank you.
Welcome.
Anybody
Trey,
else?
go ahead.
Okay. First things first, I want to say is Malik, you have gained so much respect for me, and I'm not even just saying because I feel like everybody knows what they're talking about, but especially I feel like because I play college football and you're really in touch with what goes on. I can tell you really know what people are talking, what is being emphasized at the collegiate NFL level because of what you're saying, and I think it's fantastic. And I wish Dom was here because Dom would. I mean, what you're I can tell by the points you're making, it's huge. So I'm gonna explain something to you guys. The game has changed significantly. The whole idea, and this is what Malik is getting, and there's a reason why Jalen Ramsey, to you guys, his play has gone down. The Rams moved Jalen Ramsey for a reason. The concept of having a shutdown corner is dying in the NFL. There's way too many weapons. There's way too much scoring. You can no longer shut a team down. So if I put Jalen Ramsey on a Jamar Chase or a T. Higgins, for example, and let's say he has a great game, you know what that does? Honestly, nothing. Why? Because there's Tyler Boyd and there's T. Higgins, and you have a superstar quarterback in Joe Burrow that's going to know I'm just not going to go there. And guess what? I can take Jalen Ramsey, the best defensive back on the field, out of the game by simply telling Jamar Chase to go run a route, and I get to cook everybody else. Okay? That's a fact. Okay? So where is the game going? It's about who's going to outscore the other, who's going to take away the ball. That's where the game is going. The only way having two great cover corners works if you have two of them to take away multiple weapons. Okay, so that's the first thing. Okay, that's the first thing I'll say. Number two, the idea of comparing Trevon Diggs to a Jalen Ramsey is completely crazy. I'm gonna tell you why. Two different schemes. The reason why I brought up Jalen Ramsey is because he has to move everywhere because that's the only way he can be effective for the Rams. He's not even just a corner anymore. To me, when I think of Jalen Ramsey, I think of a guy that when I watch him play, he plays corner, nickel, and strong safety. Why? Because he has to be utilized everywhere because teams began to take him away. You want to put Jalen Ramsey on Stephon Diggs, that's fine. Stephon Diggs doesn't have to have a crazy day. But now who's going to guard Davis? Who's going to guard Davis? Who's going to guard Cole Beasley? Who's going to guard Knox? That's what teams began to do, okay? So that is why you cannot compare Trevon Diggs. What Trevon Diggs is doing in his specific scheme is absolutely huge. You can make the argument that what Trevon Diggs means to that Dallas Cowboys system is greater than any of the other great cornerbacks in the NFL right now. Because Dallas knew what they were doing when they drafted Trevon Diggs. Since college. I know Malik was watching the tape in the draft, and Malik will tell you, Diggs been getting cooked in man-to-man since college. Jamar Chase was doing it to him. What was his value, Malik? He took the ball away. You had Patrick Surtain. If I want to take a receiver out the game, I put Surtain on him. Diggs, you go get the ball. The problem is we're trying to compare. I would never compare Khalil Mack to Darius Leonard and sit there and criticize Darius Leonard for not having as many sacks as Khalil Mack or criticize Khalil Mack for having as many tackles as Darius Leonard, even though they play the same position. Because in their respective schemes, they're asked to do completely different things. Okay? So then, when we talk about 11 interceptions in a single season, the most we've seen since 1981, as somebody who plays corner, guys, it is hard to go a whole season and get 3. This man had 11. I don't care how many times you're getting quote-unquote cooked, which, by the way, he's doing that on purpose. It's his scheme. It's his scheme. You really want to know what somebody is responsible for? Don't look at the yardage. Look at the touchdowns. And while everybody is sitting there launching about all the yards that Trevon Diggs gives up, Marshawn Lattimore, another fantastic corner, gave up 872. Xavier Howard, 777. And then we want to talk about rising to the occasion, as Malik said, for Jalen Ramsey. Let me read off how Trevon Diggs did against some of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Just a little food for thought for y'all. Against Mike Evans, when he lined up against him, 3 targets, 1 catch, 10 yards. Against Devontae Adams, 4 targets, 2 catches, 9 yards, and a pick. Trevon Diggs outside a pick versus the Bucs. Against Justin Jefferson, 1 catch for 3 yards. Got called for PI, no doubt.
Do you know how many snaps were just curious?
They were moved around. I can't give you the snaps, okay? I'm not going to sit there. I'm not going to look at all the snaps, but I can tell you.
Trey. Give him his flowers. Talk your talk, Trey.
No, I'm not giving him his flowers. What I am saying,
I was just curious.
Is this whole idea of Trevon Diggs gets cooked by everybody is completely ridiculous because you can give up all the yards in the world, but if you're getting 2 picks a game, especially in Dallas's games, where they played a lot of close games, and those interceptions where the difference between them winning and losing games, it's huge because it's the scheme he's asked to play in. Versus Terry McLaurin in 2 games, 6 targets, 1 catch, 1 pick, and 3 forced incompletions. This man got his hands on the ball 33 times. We're not even talking about the picks. Getting his hands on the ball 33 times is incredibly hard as a corner. Okay, so this whole idea of Trevon Diggs is a boomer bust. He's just a gambler. He just goes, no, he's doing what he's asked to do in his scheme. Yep. Dallas was number 1 in turnovers with 31. Yep. 31. You take away his 11 picks, they fall to 16. 16. Dallas finished ranked as the 8th best defense, and the reason they got their rank was because of their turnover differential. Turnovers make a difference in a game. You cannot stop an offense nowadays. Taking away a receiver does nothing. He brings value. I'm not saying he's the best corner in the league. He's not better than Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey plays multiple positions. J.C. Jackson is a great mixture of both. He can kill you in man-to-man and create turnovers. That's why, in my opinion, J.C. is the best. Jair Alexander is similar. If he was healthy, he'd be number 1. Those are 3. And then the 4th, I say a healthy Tre'Davious White is also a top 5 corner. And then 5 is Trevon Diggs, simply off the value alone. That's what I'm going to say. And anything you want to rebuttal me with, I'll have an answer for you.
Trey, I got to say, in all my years of doing this, that was one of the most insightful answers that anybody's ever given. And I'm glad that you and me see the game of football the exact same way. I just got to point that out because I think that with a couple of tweaks, Trevon Diggs could easily be a lot like those shutdown.
Yeah, I agree. He could be J.C. Jackson, Jair Alexander. If you
ask me, I think J.C. Jackson is going to have a down year playing in that Chargers.
Cooked by Diggs. Cooked. I think Trevon Diggs is better than J.C. Jackson. I think Trey. You said J.C. Jackson. I think you're being respectful. I think I'd take Trevon Diggs. Again, I think he's borderline top 5. Like I think I might take Denzel Ward over him, maybe.
Denzel Ward, I thought
he's a friend. I thought you had a fantastic argument.
There's a lot of guys that are right there. Denzel Ward.
A lot of very good corners at the top.
In fact, I think you can take White out and put Ward in simply off the fact that Ward played all season. But that's the bubble. That's the cutoff of the top guys. And then a guy like who's right under that's going to be really good. Patrick Surtain by this time next year could be top 5. Darius
AJ Terrell. AJ
Terrell is fantastic. There's a lot of good corners. But what I'm speaking of is the people that not only disrespect and don't understand the game, but then sit there and say that Trevon Diggs' all-pro vote is unwarranted. He sucks. He gives up 1,000 yards. We didn't even track how many yards were given up till Trevon Diggs got 11 picks. And that's just a fact.
Half the time it is irrelevant. It really is
extremely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because all those yards he gave up, Dallas wasn't even in the bottom third for yards given up as a defense. So what did that really amount to?
Exactly. But before we move on to a little UFC, I know we're reaching the end of the show here. Just want to quickly, and this isn't political or anything, strictly from an NFL point of view. What is next for Jack Del Rio? Malik, I'll let you start off.
I have no idea. Regardless of where you stand on the spectrum of what Jack Del Rio said or not, again, like Aiden said, this has nothing to do about politics. But what I do think that the Washington Commanders did, I do think that they alienated him a little bit. And I think that the ripple effect could be costly. I think it's going to be very challenging for him to stand up in a leadership role amongst players who may not respect him because of what he came out and said. I just don't know if Jack Del Rio has a future as the Commanders' actual defensive coordinator. And it wouldn't shock me at all. It wouldn't shock me at all. Sorry, I just got a crazy text. It wouldn't shock me at all if he stepped down as the defensive coordinator of the Commanders because I just don't know. I mean, he's already deleted his Twitter. He got fined $100,000. It's going to be very hard for him to stand up in front of those men this season and be able to command a room and get respect.
I didn't even think about that. As somebody that I'm just speaking as somebody, as a player right now, I feel like I'm blessed enough right now to give a perspective. I didn't think about that because at first
I coach football. And I coach football, and I know that everything that you say or do, it has a costly impact.
Yeah.
Hard to get behind somebody like that.
It's hard to get behind somebody like that, especially if you have players in the National Football League coming out calling him an idiot and stuff like that. I just think that I think it's in the best interest, especially because Ron Rivera, who's considered, I guess, his boss, right? Because it's the head coach, came out and said he's disappointed in him and blah, 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 blah. Basically, Jack Del Rio made it clear where he stands on the spectrum, and then you had a whole bunch of other people who stand somewhere else on the spectrum. I think what they did is they basically said, Jack, you're in a box, right? Not Jack in a box, but Jack, you're in a box, and we're fining you $100,000. We're telling you that basically keep your opinions to yourself. We don't share the same opinions as you, so therefore he's already going to feel not a part of the team because of how they did him.
It's going to go south fast, especially if they don't play well.
Especially if they don't play well. I see
players are so emotional. Why am I going to listen to you when I'm questioning whether you even care about me, or if I question you even doing? I'm just thinking like that's so hard because I've been in a position where I know guys who are a part of teams that really don't even feel valued by their coach. Who wants to go play for that? Who wants to go play for that? That is a fantastic opinion, Malik, that I honestly didn't even think about like that. But it makes 100%. At first, when you said he might have to step down, I'm like, what? That's extreme. But it makes sense because it's not effective. It's not effective. You can't connect to your players if they're not listening to you.
Mm-hmm. You lose the locker room. That's an issue that happens. We see it with a couple coaches every year, and that's one of those things that could be a ripple effect, which kills things. At that point, you got to move on. Like that you can't recover from that per se. But let's get to the UFC here real quick.
Is nobody else giving a take on it? I'm just kind of confused.
Sorry. I felt like we summarized it well, but if anybody else has anything to say.
Yeah,
I thought it was summarized well. I didn't really.
No, yeah. I mean, there's not much I can really add. I think the biggest thing is if you look at Ron Rivera as the head coach, even I'm pretty sure some of the commanders even went on social media and said some things about it. That's hard. Just being in that locker room,
right.
Like even with something, as minimal, you're hoping that, okay, maybe this can go by the wayside. A lot of players can be turned off by it. So I agree. I agree with Malik that I don't necessarily know if it happens, if he steps down, but it'd be in the best interest of the entire organization because if they're trying to win something, if they're trying to build the culture, that's not, the type of, it's not a cohesive unit. It feels like so.
Ethan, do you have any thoughts?
Do you guys? So is he going to the press conference tomorrow? Is that what it is? Does he have a press conference lined up tomorrow to talk to the media?
I am not.
I think it might be tomorrow. I did find this though. I was reading an article about it earlier. It seems like, which is kind of weird, but a lot of the players have kind of been standing up for Del Rio right now. Like Chase Young has been all over. It's like that's his guy and stuff. And Jonathan Allen, actually, he was quoted from a reporter from Washington. He said, I don't care about his opinion as long as he shows up every day and works hard. That's what I want.
Okay, so let me say this again because it's not about what I'm saying is, what does Jack Del Rio feel?
Right.
His players come out and say what he wants. The organization fined him $100,000. The coach came out and released a statement saying, basically condemning what he said. Understand all that. What does Jack Del Rio feel about the organization now? And if the defense, to Trey's point, does struggle, because who's their quarterback this year? Who's their quarterback this year?
My guy Carson Wentz.
Oh, Carson Wentz. That's right. Yeah.
What I'm projecting is that what you say?
No, keep going. It's like Carson Wentz.
What you say? What you say about Carson Wentz?
Me?
Yeah, what you just said.
I just said I forgot it was Carson Wentz. I forgot.
Oh, I think they no Carson Wentz slander. But what I'm going to say is, I think it's important to understand because of who they have at quarterback, Carson Wentz. I think they're going to see a lot of the Commanders' defense on the field.
Yes.
Trey, if a defense is on the field a lot, is that a good thing?
Oh boy, it ain't great. It sucks.
And I think Jack Del Rio might either have to step down. Obviously, I just don't think that this is the momentum they needed to go into the season with.
Yeah,
I don't think
that's
already
a mess of a franchise.
Players are going to say that. Their PR team, their managers going to say, "Hey, just weather the storm." Because guess what? You don't want to cause any more. You don't want to give the media anything more to speculate about. Okay, so I'm going to say all the things about Coach Del Rio, and I think Coach Del Rio's track record. I think he can turn that defense and make it a really, really good defense. The problem is to Malik's point, how does Del Rio feel, and what is the real vibe in that locker room when nobody is around? Because what is said to the media and what really goes on inside are two very different things. Because when those players are at home playing poker, talking about the sole scenario, very, very different than what they're going to say on the podium and say to everybody else. And it's really going to come down to, as Malik alluded to, when Carson Wentz throws that third pick of the game, and Washington's got to go out there and, hold, Tampa Bay or somebody or Philly to a touchdown to keep the season alive, they might feel some type of way. They might feel a little bit differently that following weekend. So we're going to see what happens.
Yep. So, look, with the UFC, there was a fantastic title bout this weekend. Malik, we watched it. It was awesome. I know some people have said it's in contention for fight of the year. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but Jiří Procházka, I don't know if I just pronounced his name right, but he only fights in 2 UFC bouts before he gets this title shot. He ends up winning the belt. But a lot of people maybe were a little upset that he only had to fight in 2 UFC bouts to get this title shot. So, Daniel, I'll let you start this one off. Do you think Jiří Procházka, sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but do you think he should have fought in more UFC bouts to earn this title shot?
I don't know. I mean, when I look at the division as a whole, it kind of seemed like right place, right time, right? Rakic kind of, I think he tore his ACL. Jan just won. He needed to fight another fight because it wasn't a convincing win. I don't think that the 2-fight standard is really, it's necessary, right? We look at a guy like Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler fought once, or if I'm not mistaken, I think he fought once. He fought against Dan Hooker, won, and they got a title shot. I don't necessarily know it was necessary for him to fight more than 2. I don't think that he necessarily deserved to be there. It happened, and I still think that, his next fight against whoever it is, Rakic or Jan, I think he's going to lose it, but I don't have too much of an issue with him only fighting twice and then getting the title shot.
Neither do I. He won. Like, why do we need to drag this on anymore? He got the title shot. He showed up. If he didn't show up and it was an embarrassment and this, that, maybe we have a discussion on our hands, but he won the fight.
It's not like he jumped a lot of guys to even get that opportunity. The
No.
light heavyweight division has been pretty stagnant. Their champion was 42 years old.
Yeah.
I just think that, no, I mean, I think this is the wrong question to be asked. What I think the question that we should be asking, which is what I thought we would be asking, is Jiří Procházka the best light heavyweight in the world, even after he won his championship? And to be quite honest with you, I don't think he is. He fought sloppy. He looked sloppy. A 42-year-old dude almost knocked him out on several occasions. I know Ted in our group chat was like, I am a huge Jiří fan because he created his own style. To me, that's not a style that was fighting reckless abandonment. I'm going to tell you something right now that I said to people a long time ago, and people disagree with me. If Alexander Rakic did not tear his ACL, he would have beat Jan Blachowicz, and Alexander Rakic, if he fought Jiří, he would beat Jiří. He's more technical. He's more defensively sound. And I genuinely think Alexander Rakic is the best light heavyweight on the planet. That is not a hot take. If anybody walked away from Jiří Procházka's fight saying Jiří Procházka is the best light heavyweight in the world just because he has a championship wrapped around him, newsflash, he's not. That's like saying Aljamain Sterling's the best bantamweight because he has the bantamweight championship. Peter Yan is.
Yeah, and anybody who watched that fight, I'm pretty sure the scorecards had Glover in, winning because he was.
Glover knocked him out on the cage. And
Glover shot one.
Yeah.
That has got to be the biggest brain fart I've ever seen from a professional athlete. And I understand he's tired. He's 42 years old, close to a retirement home. Get it. But if I knock somebody out, if I hit somebody with an overhand and I literally physically see them go out on the cage, why? I understand your instinct is to grapple, but all he had to do was follow it up with 2 shots. To be honest with you, the referee could have called the fight too. He literally hit him. Jiří went out. I mean, lights went out. And then immediately Glover goes to grapple with him, takes him down, and it's like Jiří woke up. And the fight was what? It had a minute left to go. I'm like, no. It's like. Have you ever guys been watching something we've all bet before on sports? Well, not all of us, but some of us here have bet before on sports. I know me and Daniel and Ethan have, and it's like something's going really, really good, and you're like, yes. No. That was literally the moment with Glover Teixeira because I knew that was a bad mistake. I didn't know how, and I didn't think Jiří would figure a submit Glover Teixeira of all people. I think the odds were like plus 3,500 too for him to
Yeah.
submit Fury. Bro, what? Like, you knocked him out on the cage. You, 42 years old, just went up against the craziest mother effer in the UFC, and you beat him down. You knocked him out on the cage in the 5th round. You decide to grapple with him.
He was gassed.
And now he's got the nerve to ask for a rematch? Nah, bro, you need to go to a retirement home. You don't deserve a rematch. Because if that's the decision you made, and I know I'm being hard on the old timer. I know I'm being hard on him. But like, if that's the decision you made in that moment, what do you think you're going to do in the rematch? Because he's not going to beat Jiří in the rematch. Jiří took your best submissions, your best shot.
Yeah.
It's over with at this point. It's Jan Blachowicz or Alexander Rakic time.
Yeah, let's talk about more, about who the best in this weight class is, which was actually kind of a question we had. I just couldn't fit it in the ticker. But Ethan, what do you think?
About who the best light heavyweight is?
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta say Jiří Procházka now. I mean, because it's a weak division. It's a weak division. I mean, I really think is John Jones. John Jones is the best light heavyweight.
John Jones is a heavyweight.
Now he is, right, but he can still whoop ass at light heavyweight, no matter. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, Jiří Procházka came from Bellator, correct?
No, came from Ryzen.
Oh, came from Ryzen. Okay, so when you got guys who are coming from other promotions like that who've been successful there, and they're in a division that's as weak as light heavyweight, yeah, I mean, I get it. Why he only got 2 fights coming into it. I don't know, man. Like I said, like Malik was talking, who were you saying? Who was that guy's name?
Rakic.
Yes. I think he's got potential. I don't know. I think Jiří's the best right now, but I haven't been paying too much attention to this light heavyweight division.
He almost got starched by a 42-year-old.
Yeah, but Glover's still like a Hall of Fame.
If Jiří's won the show, that means nothing to me. Jiří literally looked like crap down the stretch of that fight. His gas tank was awful.
Wow.
He was throwing knees. He had no sense of direction. He got lucky and submitted Glover Teixeira. I hate to say a fighter got lucky, but he got lucky submitting Glover Teixeira, because if that would have went to the scorecard, Glover would have retained the belt, and Glover would be his next fight would be a 43-year-old rematching Jan Blachowicz. Glover just had the worst brain fart after having probably the greatest light heavyweight bout of all time, if you ask me.
It was very
No, Jiří's defense is atrocious. And if Jiří comes into that fight with Jan Blachowicz with that defense, I'm telling you right now, Jan will be 39 or 40. Jan is going to knock his ass out. I say that confidently. Jan will knock his ass. You know, what do they say with Jan? Polish power? Jan will knock his ass out if he comes into that fight with him with that type of defense.
Put that on the record books.
Easily. If Jiří has that defense against Jan, he got knocked. We're not going to, we have to talk about that.
Yeah, he did.
He get knocked out against a cage by a 42-year-old. He was out cold.
Mm-hmm.
He got hit.
42 years old is not necessarily old for UFC either. I mean, that's not like most of these guys are in their late 30s. I mean, 42 years old.
Trey, he got hit and went forward and was falling. And as he was going forward, falling, the guy goes to grab him and scoop him.
I saw the highlights. I don't even know. You guys know I don't know UFC like that, but that looked like a mistake. What's really sad is, let me ask you this, Malik. Let's say he makes the right decision and he knocks him out. What does he do at that point? Does he keep fighting, or is that a good way to go out?
He said he would fight one more time to defend his belt, and that would be against the guy he beat to win the belt, Jan Blachowicz. And I just think he's a bad stylistic matchup for Jan because he likes to pressure.
So it sounds like what you're saying is this win was he caught him off guard a little bit, could have had a chance to take advantage of the opportunity, have the belt for a quick little spiel, lost it, and then he go.
You know, this was his first title defense. You want to hear the craziest part about the Trey? When he hit him, he could have even just backed away. It was 1 minute left in the fight. He would have won. He was winning on the scorecards. He would have won. He would have retained his belt.
I feel like that when you knock somebody out too, and you back away, and everybody sees, it also gives off the look that you thought you knocked him out, because I'm sure everybody saw, like we all saw on TV, he got knocked out. So you back away, and even it just sort of makes it more dramatic. So then if you force that ref to make that decision,
yeah. And I get it. You could tell there are certain fighters who have killer instincts that if they got you hurt.
Here you go with that killer instinct.
No, I'm saying it. There are certain fighters like
A dog and
let Conor McGregor hurt you. Let Conor McGregor hurt you. Let's see how long you're gonna last in there.
Bro, I still remember. I'll never forget. Here comes my college straight story. It was like my freshman year. He was playing. Who was it? Cowboy. I think he was playing Cowboy, and he hit them shoulder blows, bro.
Yeah.
I was sitting there like, dang, like just
shoulder strikes.
His IQ is, beyond.
Some of the so that's where fighting IQ comes into play. There are some guys that are like just great for combat sports that know when they got you hurt, they can get you out of there. You're not going to survive. John Jones is one of them. If John Jones has you hurt, he's going to kill you. If Derek Lewis has you hurt, he's going to kill you. If Conor McGregor has you hurt, he's going to kill you. If Khabib Nurmagomedov had you hurt, he's going to kill you. And then there are guys like Glover who are used to fighting to decisions or submitting people. And when they actually hit you and hurt you, it's like,
Can I
wow.
ask you a question real quick?
Yeah.
As somebody is y'all, one thing the Game Changers have done, y'all got me into UFC. And of course, I've watched the big ones, right? McGregor versus Khabib. If McGregor is healthy, right? Even if Khabib didn't retire, do you ever think there's a world where McGregor could have beat Khabib, or is Khabib just that?
Khabib is a different.
I'm going to tell you something right now, and I want you guys to clip this moment, Aiden. So this is your assignment. Khabib right now is the acting coach of AKA, while Javier Mendez is dealing with some injuries and stuff like that. So he's been training all the fighters at AKA. Hear me out. Khabib Nurmagomedov could get off of his mom's couch or his couch wherever he's staying right now in Dagestan, Russia. He could get off his couch right now, enter back into the USADA pool, fight Charles Oliveira, and he would finish Charles Oliveira within 2 rounds.
He knows that too. When I be watching him coach people, I get that sense, like his swagger, like I could kill all y'all. Like
He retired because Islam Makhachev was next up. That was his promise he made to his father. If Islam loses to Charles when they fight, whoa there. We might have a real player in Khabib Nurmagomedov coming back. I don't think there's a fighter at lightweight or welterweight that can beat Khabib. I'm going to say that again. I don't think that there's a fighter at lightweight, which is the division he fought at, and welterweight. Khamzat's not beating Khabib. Khabib would take Khamzat to the ground and smash him. That's what he would do. Now, stand-up, Khamzat would probably get Khabib. But Habib's not going to stand with him.
I've never watched.
Habib is a lot like George St. Pierre. If you guys remember George St. Pierre got off the couch after being away from the UFC for 4 years.
Yeah.
And went up a weight class and won the middleweight championship in a weight class he had never fought at.
Yeah.
Habib can literally get off the couch today, and he would be the best lightweight in the planet or the best welterweight.
Agreed.
What I will say though is, I think, and this could be a bold take, but I think Khamzat's prime, once he gets into his prime, because I think he'll fight.
He's
I
scary.
think that prime could match Khabib, but that's obviously just hypothetical.
It takes a certain discipline. Khamzat is literally so Khamzat, just so you know, he's from Sweden, but he's Russian as well, and he's like Khabib was really, really focused. Like Khabib, like Ramadan, like he was zoned in, locked in. He let no distractions happen to him. What sucked for Khabib is Khabib tore his ACL, I think, in both of his legs, so his career was like derailed. So he spent a lot of time away from the octagon. Khamzat Chimaev isn't as disciplined. Khamzat is on Instagram posting, those kids in high school that got money and then they got they'll take a picture of their like stacks of money in their hands, or they'll take a picture of them call. No, Khamzat literally did that the other day. He got out of his Jeep and he has like a stack of money. He took a picture of that. That's the type of level like Khabib actually like lived and breathed this. I will say this though. Kamaru Usman better run.
I think you agreed.
I already said it.
Yeah.
Kamaru Usman, after he beats Leon Edwards, because he's going to beat Leon Edwards. So those of you who want to bet and stuff like that, I'm giving you a spoiler right now. Kamaru Usman is going to beat the crap out of Leon Edwards. After that, we should see Kamaru Usman respectfully take his gloves off in the octagon, sit him down, kiss his dad on the head, hug his mom, hug his little princess, his daughter, what he calls her, and he should quietly make an exit from MMA and never fight again. Because if he stays in mixed martial arts in the UFC a second after he beats Leon Edwards, Khamzat Chimaev will beat and victimize and brutalize Kamaru Usman, and I don't want to see that happen to Kamaru Usman. Like, I don't think Kamaru Usman will be the same person if he fought Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev is the first fighter, Trey, who I say could win the welterweight belt. And then Israel Adesanya got to make a decision if he don't get knocked out if he fights Alex Pereira. Israel Adesanya has to make a decision. Does he want to be a gamer full time? Or does he want to continue this, or does he want to move up to light heavyweight? Because after Khamzat takes Kamaru's belt, he's going to then go take Kamaru Usman's best friend's belt, Israel Adesanya's belt. And then Jiří Procházka and all those guys, they're not safe because Khamzat walks around naturally as a bigger guy. Like Khamzat could fight at light heavyweight. And Khamzat's the first fighter in the UFC that I can easily see being a 3-weight champion. Easily. With no problems. So, if y'all know how, for those of you who knew me, who knew how high I was on Khabib, I'm 10 times higher on Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev, if he wants to, he could take the middleweight belt today, take the welterweight belt tomorrow, and then in 3 weeks he could take the light heavyweight belt with ease. And there's nothing anybody could do with it. It's Khamzat Chimaev's world. He's the face of the UFC.
Yeah, that is because I loved Khabib. He was insane. Like when and I think he could come back. Like it hasn't been that long. I think Khabib still in shape. He can come back and take some championships.
I see what if you guys don't know, you can see you can kind of see what Charles Oliveira is doing. It's kind of very brilliant. Charles Oliveira is beating all the guys that Khabib beat, like almost forcing Khabib's hand to come back out of retirement. If Charles beats Islam, which is very real, it's a very real possibility.
Yeah. No,
because Islam is not better than Khabib. I know they like to build him up and say, "Oh, he's better." No, he's not. If he beats, because you think about it, Khabib's toughest challenge was considered who? Justin Gaethje. Charles Oliveira disposed of him in 1 round. He choked him out in 1 round. It's funny, I think Khabib choked him out the exact same way. Like Dustin Poirier got choked out by Charles Oliveira. Khabib did the same exact thing to Charles Oliveira. And if Charles Oliveira winds up beating Islam Makhachev, what's the excuse? I'll tell you. You know what's funny, Trey? You asked a question earlier about Conor McGregor. And it's going to be a really, really bold take what I'm about to say right now. I think if Conor McGregor is healthy and focused, this is a really hot take. I think Conor McGregor could come out after I think he should fight one more time maybe before. But I think Conor McGregor can knock out Charles Oliveira. I think he can knock him out.
I don't think that's a hot take though. I think you know what messed him up? The Floyd fight messed him up, in my opinion.
Yeah, he changed his stance. Conor McGregor, like people got to realize he didn't lose his power. Like Dustin Poirier, if you listen to Dustin Poirier's interviews, he said, "Yo, if Conor realized how bad he had me buzzed in the last time they fought, he said he could have finished me. He didn't realize how bad he had me hurt. He can still knock anybody out at welterweight or at lightweight or at featherweight." And I think a lot of guys are calling him out right now to their mistake. I think what the UFC is going to do, from what I heard, I think they're going to try to make Jorge Masvidal versus Conor McGregor. And let me tell you right now, Jorge Masvidal, if you ever see this, you probably won't. I would not take that fight. You got knocked out.
What you're saying is Conor McGregor needs a fight where he can realize just how powerful he is. It's like a circus line that doesn't realize it's a line.
If they give Conor McGregor Nate Diaz or Jorge Masvidal, mark my words on this show. What's today's date? June 13th. June 13th at 9 p.m. I promise you. I know Conor has never finished Nate Diaz. He will finish Nate Diaz this fight.
It's interesting you say this because the sense that I feel like it was almost like there was a sense of like McGregor's done. He can't. It sounds like what you're telling me is he's got a lot more to tank. He just doesn't realize it. Do you think he doesn't realize it, or do you think he's?
I think he realizes it, and I think everybody else doesn't realize it. I think everyone thinks that what he's been fighting at recently is who he is. Remember, he fought Dustin Poirier. Remember, he already knocked Dustin Poirier out in the first round the first time they fought. He fought him because he was trying to fight Manny Pacquiao. That's why he fought Dustin Poirier in a boxer stance. And he was trying to. Yeah. He was supposed to be a warm-up because Dustin Poirier is the same type of style fighter as Manny Pacquiao. If you remember before, they were talking about doing a charity boxing event over in Ireland. The UFC got wind of it and said, "No, we're going to take over and we're going to make this a rematch." This was never supposed to be Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. It was all mistakes. I know this is a really hot take and people don't like to say it, but I think Conor has this ability where guys think that, especially now, they think, hey, I could stand with Conor. Like if you knock Conor out or you beat Conor up on the feet, that's like a really big honor. It's a really big honor. I think Charles Oliveira, he literally said if Conor McGregor was ready and healthy, he would let him jump Justin Gaethje. I think that's a mistake. I think if Conor McGregor fights Charles Oliveira, I think Charles Oliveira is going to make the mistake, and I think he's going to stand with him to try to prove something, and Charles gets cracked. And let me tell you something about Conor. Charles gets cracked every single fight. But what happens is, just so you know, Trey, he cracks them, but everybody's scared to follow Charles to the ground because he's like a lethal submission threat. Right? So they let him back up. And when they let him back up and Charles realizes, oh, you're scared to go to the ground with me, he just walks forward, not worried about what comes back at him, because he knows the chances of me grabbing you versus you knocking me out because you let me back up is I have a greater chance of taking your back and submitting you. Conor would drop Charles, and Conor would then lay hammers down on Charles.
So what it sounds like you're saying, just to sum it up here, is when a lion is asleep, don't wake him.
Exactly. And I think people are doing that with Conor McGregor. And I think I'll say it right now, I think the UFC, whoever they feed Conor to next, bet Conor McGregor, because Conor McGregor might be plus money. Because he hasn't won a fight in mixed martial arts since 2018. And before that, he hasn't won a fight in mixed martial arts since 2016. I will tell you right now, Conor McGregor, if I had a life savings to bet on it, I would bet Conor McGregor would knock out Charles Oliveira. I would.
Really?
Yes, because again, you guys are going to have to listen. Like, hear me out. I know we're over time, but Conor McGregor cracks everybody. He's the most accurate striker in the UFC. He's the best boxer in the UFC. And Charles gets cracked every single fight. Charles got cracked against Gaethje, and when I say crack, Trey, he gets dropped. He got dropped against Gaethje, like bad. He gets dropped against Gaethje, Poirier, Chandler. I'm telling y'all, if Conor cracks Charles, when you hit somebody, they're dazed. They fall to the ground. Like he's dazed because he doesn't know where he is. He's hurt. But they're so scared to go to the ground with him, they let him back up. Conor's not going to let him back up. Conor's going to follow him to the ground and lay hammer fist on him.
Do you think his ground and pound is that much better than Chandler's and Poirier's? Like much better?
I think. Did you see what Conor did to Jose Aldo?
Yeah.
He was in his head.
It's all about how you fall. Conor has this way about him. He did it to Cowboy, where Trey, he hits you, and then when you fall, he takes your neck, holds your neck down, and literally just starts.
No, I saw it. I saw it. It was devastating. I was like, "Is this legal? Like this look?"
He controls you. He controls you by your neck, so you can't move. So it's not like Charles could grab him or anything like that. I think the moment Conor hits Charles and Charles goes back, how Charles does, I think you're going to see Conor literally hold him down and it's like you were relaying back to. There's some people if those of you who know the UFC wants Conor to be champion again. They would love for Conor to be champion again. They will call that fight so quick. They will call that fight. I've seen them. I've seen Conor fight some fights, and they will call the fight extremely quick. Extremely quick. They won't even give you if you show any amount of hurt when you're fighting Conor McGregor and you're on the ground. They'll call that fight in a heartbeat. You'll be like, "Yo, I'm fine." Nope, they called it. That's how, and I think that's what's going to happen with Charles. Remember, the UFC never wanted Charles to be champion.
Yeah, no, it's a possible outcome. I still think it's just hard for me to see after. At some point, this run is going to end. At some point, this run is going to end. I just don't think that.
Do you know the advantage of Conor?
What?
Every single time a round starts, it starts on the feet. Charles gets cracked every single fight. If Chandler found your chin, if Poirier found your chin, if Justin Gaethje, the wildest striker in UFC, who has literally, I feel like he has no game plan, just throws. If he found Charles' chin, you don't think Conor is going to find Charles' chin?
No, he's going to. But how? I'm curious.
And it's going to be vicious when he does. It's going to be vicious.
How does Conor return? How does he once Conor gets on the ground? I know he's great grappling. I know he's great at scrambling.
The fight's not going to go to the ground. Yeah. It's not going to even go to the ground. It's not going to even go to the ground. He's going to find Charles' chin, and the fight's going to be over. The fight's going to be over. That's my. Connor's Trey. Just so you to your point, Connor's already back kicking the heavy backs in. Like he had some vicious kicks. I'm telling y'all right now, sleep on Connor at your own dismay. Now, if he fights Charles, I think Connor would be probably like a plus 550, plus 650.
It depends on how he looks at.
Bro,
He hasn't done
it.
Diaz.
Huh?
No, but it depends on how he looks versus Masvidal and Diaz. If he comes out striking and he comes out on fire, I think it won't be that big of a.
If I was Connor, I wouldn't even fight Masvidal or Diaz. I would go straight. If they offer me Charles, I would go straight for Charles. Because you want them to still think that, oh, this guy can't hurt me. You want them to still have that illusion. You don't want Charles to come in there and be like, grapple, grapple, grapple. You want them to feel comfortable standing up with you. I'm telling y'all right now, because people are sleeping on Connor. I don't like Connor, but I know boxing, and I know a great striker when I see it. If Charles stands with Connor for more than 30 seconds, he's going out. He's going out.
I don't think he'll go to sleep though. I think like you said, I think Connor.
What?
He's faced Gaethje.
Yeah, come on.
Bro, what?
I don't think he'll go to sleep.
Bro, if Connor hits Charles, it's lights. I don't care what Teddy says.
I don't think. I disagree. I disagree. His lights won't go. I think it'll come down to the ground and pound.
He's never been hit, bro. He's never been hit
by
you're not listening. He's never been hit by anyone so precise and as hard as Connor because Connor is so precise. His punches are that much harder, bro. Like I understand is Cowboys, but you got to understand, like, and Trey, Connor always does well against slow starters. His entire career, I
read somewhere. Tell me if I'm wrong. I read somewhere that keys with guys like Connor is if you can drag him into a deeper water,
you'll win.
All of a sudden, that euphoria, that aura, all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
He wants to attack you early. Everybody
that Connor starches are slow starters. Charles Oliveira is literally notoriously a slow starter. He doesn't get his senses.
This is lined up. This is like a bad.
It's lined up for the stars, bro. It's like he's the perfect champion for Connor to dethrone that. If Islam is the champion, Islam's gonna beat him.
You know what it's like? It's like when Notre Dame's ranked number 1, and then that college football team that's like 6 gets Notre Dame. That's what this feels like. When you're talking about
and everybody thought, Donald Cerrone had a chance. Donald Cerrone is literally a slow starter. Like that's literally him. And whatchamacallit is the same exact way. Charles is going to get cracked, and everybody is going to be like, "Whoa, can't believe it!"
Hey, I'm convinced. Look, the moment Connor come back, I'm paying that pay-per-view, and I want to see it because I'm convinced.
And everybody's going to be shocked. Everybody's going to be shocked, and I'm just going to be here not because I want Connor to be champion again, not because I love Connor. I'm just telling y'all.
You're right.
Throughout his entire career, he's done fantastic against slow starters. Charles Oliveira is a slow starter who gets dropped. And it's not like we're saying, he gets dropped some fight. He gets dropped every single fight. He's going to find Charles's chin. Charles is a slow starter, and they're probably going to call the fight a lot quicker because it's the fact it's Conor McGregor. And, I got Conor McGregor by vicious knockout if he fights Charles Oliveira.
I'm going to remember this. I hope I'm done playing so I can bet on it. That's my hope.
Bro, if you ever look at Charles, the way Conor, I know we're supposed to be ending this, but the way Conor pressures you, he pressures you to the way your back is against the cage. And if you ever go look at Charles, like Charles has a bunch of losses on his record. Every single time Charles has gotten knocked out, it's always been up against the cage, and he always falls the exact same way. He gets hit, and then he curls up against the cage. He curls up against the cage, and the guy just lands bombs. And that's literally the Conor McGregor special. He's going to butcher Charles.
And Conor notices these things. He watches tape. He studies the game.
That's like, if you don't think Conor wants to fight, the fight where he fought Dustin Poirier and broke his leg, his mouthpiece was a Brazilian flag. If Conor didn't think he could beat Charles, he wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Charles was the champ. He thought in his mind he was going to knock out Dustin Poirier and fight Charles Oliveira. That was his plan. He came into that fight with a Brazilian mouthpiece. A Brazilian mouthpiece, bro. You know what he said? He said it's time to dance with the Brazilians again because Charles was the type of way that he knocked out Jose Aldo. When Charles Oliveira was coming up, Jose Aldo was the guy that they loved, that they all prayed to, he was literally MMA for Brazilians. He thinks he's going to go in there and try to avenge that loss, and he's going to wind up getting chinned again. This is unfortunate.
I disagree.
Okay.
We'll see. It's Malik, you made a lot of future bets for the UFC in these last 20 minutes. So we'll be able to circle back to all of these in the coming weeks, probably months or years.
I'll bet my life savings Connor. If Connor and Charles fight, he's gonna find Charles and he's gonna knock him out. Guaranteed.
Cool.
Guaranteed. I've never been so confident about a fight.
And then what? Based on what you're saying, now we're talking about a Conor McGregor with confidence. Is that a scary thing?
Extremely scary.
That's his special.
And he has that aura back around him again. It's the same thing with Kamaru Usman and Conor, though. Kamaru Usman is a slow starter. And Kamaru Usman
don't do that. Stop the show. No. Don't do that. Don't set him up. You're teeing up Malik for the craziest take yet. Let's just don't.
No, it's not crazy though, because
Kamaru is going down the path.
No. I'm not. Y'all not listening. Everybody that Conor is calling out, he's calling out guys who are slow starters.
It's strategic.
He's doing it for a reason, bro. Like,
question.
But wait, hold on, Daniel. If he fights Usman has fell in love with his hands. Usman has now knocked out Gilbert Burns and knocked out Jorge Masvidal. He's not knocking out Conor McGregor. He's not. And he thinks that, remember, Usman, Trey, you got to understand, everything with combat sports is all about mental. Usman is trying to angle for a fight against Canelo. So he's going to try to do what? Show off his hands. He's going to try to show off his hands. Every single time Usman tries to show off his hands, he gets cracked. He got cracked against Gilbert Burns, and Gilbert Burns couldn't believe he hurt.
Canelo, though? What is with these UFC dudes wanting to box? Like,
as Canelo would say, payday. I'm saying, if Conor fights Kamaru Usman, I'm not going to say Conor's going to win definitely, but I think he's going to really hurt Usman bad.
That's fair. I mean, my biggest question to you is, how do we know he can still get down a lightweight? Like, he's at least 190 right now.
This is the same guy we're talking about that moved from featherweight lightweight. If there's one thing Conor is, he's a pro. He has never missed weight. He has never struggled with weight. The dude has looked drained on the scales and has built himself back up. That's something he's literally the ultimate professional. Like, Khabib struggled with weight on the scales. Conor has not. Conor is a pro's pro, and if he knows he's fighting somebody at lightweight, you better believe that he's going to get down to lightweight. I'm just saying, I see a path where Conor could beat Charles or Usman, depending on what he chooses. And I think Usman's next shadow challenger is Khamzat. And if that's the case, take back everything I said. Conor's not beating Khamzat.
Okay. Malik, again, all those we're going to be circling back to him. I think you made some pretty good cases personally. So, again,
I've already started studying. I've already started studying, getting ready for this guy's return, because he's going to fight Masvidal and Nate Diaz or one of the champions. And when he knocks these guys out, everyone's going to be shocked, and I'm going to be sitting here like, not trying to say I told you so, but like, there's whoever Conor fights next, he's going to fight a slow starter. He's going to fight a slow starter. That's going to be a layup, like Cowboy was.
Malik, say it. You told him so. You can say it. Like
Conor said, everyone has a plan until they get ghosted. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think he's going to have murderous shots when he gets back, and it's going to be bad. But that's just me.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. We had an hour, 45 minutes. You guys can listen on the podcast too. If you didn't get to catch all of it and you're going to work, you're doing something, you can catch us on the podcast again. We talked NBA Finals, NFL, some UFC. It was fantastic today. We're going to be back next Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time here on the Right Way Sports Network. As always, we'll see you then.
Giannis downhill, slams it home. Pressure again, and a sack for Aaron Donald.